Hey guys, what's up? Ludicrousness here. We've got our second match of the B League for Reddit League Twilight Struggle for 2019. So I did graduate up to the 4th division, a position that I am definitely unqualified for. Here we've got SteveKerr that I'm going to be playing against. He is a 1600s player, so I definitely expect a good competition. We're doing +2, 90 minutes. And I guess we'll see how it goes. Okay, so it looks like I'll be playing as the US. That's probably okay. I generally prefer the US. I think +2 is about right for it. Okay, so looking at my hand, I kind of love it. It's definitely... there's a lot of good things here. A lot of good things. Okay, so for opening influence, I think 4-4-2 probably makes the most sense. I have socialist governments in hand, which is great. And having socialist governments in hand, I'm actually slightly more inclined to go for 4-3-3. It means that he definitely cannot just play in there on AR1 with duck and cover. I kind of like that. 4-3-3 means that Iran is extra protected. I'm holding socialist governments, which is probably going to be going to blockade. If it doesn't go to blockade by the end of the turn, I space AR6. Hold decall for as long as possible. I'm probably not going to be able to hold it through the reshuffle, but I can always hope. And I think I purge him in this scenario. Yeah, I definitely think I purge him. It is one of my only high op cards, but first of all, I don't have any other really good headlines, and secondly, it's just really powerful. On turn 1 to start to cut the USSR's ops when they've already got so many places they want to play. I think that's the only reasonable decision here. And I think there's a strong chance that I'm going to be able to take European domination here. We'll have to see what happens. As long as he doesn't go straight for something like De Gaulle duck and cover maybe. But we'll have to see how it goes. Okay, so we got Suez. I don't really hate that too much. It's definitely going to make it tougher, I will say, to get European domination not having a non-battleground, but definitely not impossible. And with Iran at 3 and him under purge, Iran is pretty close to unassailable. Yeah, so that worked out really well. So he's trying to clean me out of the Middle East. That definitely makes a lot of sense. What do I do here? Defcon's at 4. He's gotten 3 of his mill-ops. He's under purge. He had a nice big strong 4-op. Suez Crisis is great. That's 2 4-op cards that are accounted for. I know I'm sitting on European scoring. I need 5 ops to take European domination here. I can also coup back in if he does knock me out, and I have the added advantage, though, of knowing that I have the Indo-Pakistani War. I think in this case, playing into Pakistan makes a lot of sense. It gives me access if he somehow gets very lucky on a second Iran coup and I don't want to coup back for some reason, although I almost certainly would. If he gets very lucky on Pakistan, I have a 50-50 chance to flip it. And going in naked to Pakistan like that, I think is usually a bad play. Remember, I still want 5 ops to be able to take European domination, if at all possible. I have 7 usable ops here. That's 2 for a coup, and pretty much everything else, if I'm going to take Europe, needs to go into Europe. Definitely that Suez crisis was frustrating. But let's see what happens here. He is under purge, so he could go for the China card coup on Pakistan, which personally I would love, since it would make it much easier for me to hold decall. And again, like I said, I do have that 50-50. And he only has a 50-50 of taking Pakistan with the China card coup in the first place. Okay, so here it comes. He is going for it. Fingers crossed. Okay, so he got... Alright. So let's think this through for a sec. I could go for the Indo-Pakistani War. I think what I prefer, if I play 3 from NORAD straight into Pakistan, an extra op would definitely be nice. I could play 1 Malaysia, 2 Pakistan, or I could just take Pakistan outright right now. Because that forces him to go into India naked. And it gives me a 50-50 chance of flipping it. He rolled a 3 on that? Yeah. I think in this case, knowing that I'm sitting on the Indo-Pakistani War, and knowing that he might have the opportunity to knock me out of Iran, this is probably the best choice. I am potentially sacrificing Vietnam if he's sitting, or Thailand if he's sitting on Vietnam revolts, which really sucks. If I split it up like this, I actually don't really mind that. He probably doesn't want to get into an ops war for Pakistan of all things right now, and having access to Thailand is pretty critical. Remember, I only have 4 more usable ops this turn, and 1 space. So let's go for that and see what happens. Like, if he wants to get into an ops war for Pakistan, I'll take the 50-50 and still have access to India afterwards. With the China card, it's going to be much easier for me to make a play. So yeah, my dreams of European domination are now totally out the window, which is fine. You know, turn 1 is really hard to establish dominations, and especially after Formosan like that. So he's going for... Oh, okay, he's going into... Interesting. Alright. Well, I definitely don't hate that. So I think in this case, we'll probably continue to race him up here. We'll take Pakistan, and we'll put 1 into Thailand to start to protect that. I'm holding decall, which is great. So the next thing, I should probably do that. Remember, to get my Millops, what am I going to do to get my Millops here? It depends if he coups by the end of the turn. If he coups, I would definitely be tempted, I'll say, to use the Indo-Pakistani War for the event. Otherwise, I'll probably coup Iraq with it, hope to get lucky to knock him out of the eastern part of the Middle East, and also I will be able to stop him from being able to coup Thailand next turn. So we're going to have to see how it goes. First to Thailand is important, but unfortunately it's not really protected, which does suck. Now I need to score Europe coming up here. I would say I've got a good lead in Asia, but he definitely has some presence there that I wasn't able to prevent, essentially. But, you know, first to Laos, almost certainly, unless he plays 2 into Burma right here, which would probably be a pretty good play for him to also protect against that Indo-Pakistani war. You know, it sucks giving up the possibility of knocking him out with the war, but, you know, it's only a 50-50, and influence is a sure thing, and coup to get that Millops, and, you know, my chances on Iraq, it's 4. I would be, it's got a defense of 7. Oh, here we go, CIA created. Fascinating. Okay, so what does he have? 5-year plan, destall, Korean War. Interesting. Okay, so he is sitting on destall. Interesting. So what do I do with that? That's some good cards for sure. Those are some good cards. Okay. What are my choices here? With destall in hand, he's got a lot of power. Okay, I understand. I think what we'll start with is lower DEFCON, because I need to protect Thailand at the start of the turn is the main thing. He actually doesn't have a lot of influence that he wants to pull out with de-Stalinization right now, which is not terrible. He's also not holding blockade, which is great. I can space. Interesting. Okay. 4, 5, 6. Even with the 1 extra, there's no way that I can take domination in Europe, so that kind of sucks. But I think what I'll do in this case is... I guess it's actually beneficial to try to keep DEFCON a little higher, isn't it? Why don't we go 1 into Thailand? And immediately score Europe. I think that's the way to go. So, 5-year, which he'll probably save. Korean War, he might go for the event. Fidel, he'd probably prefer to go for the event, but it's pretty early right now. Okay, and de-Stalinization. The other option that I did have there was to play 1 down into Colombia and kind of move up into Venezuela, since I did get back-to-back actions. But I'm not a huge fan of that here. So yeah, he's probably a little bit worried about Asian domination, as well he should be. So I think I will take this opportunity. Let's go for it. Awesome. So that was really powerful to get that Indo-Pakistani war there. That's pretty devastating. And I mean, that was almost all of his ops investment this turn that he used for that. So being able to flip that pretty much made the entire rest of his turn almost ineffective. He also doesn't know that I'm sitting on decol and socialist, which means he definitely can't use D-stall here, among other things. Like, where does he take the influence out of? I mean, he needs to start stripping out Poland and East Germany in that case, which is not a great move. So, what are his other choices? I think the other cards he has are 5-year plan and Korean War. I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for the Korean War as an event, or if he plays down into it. But he can't play 5-year plan, risk tossing D-stall. He probably doesn't want to use D-stall right now. And Korean War is not very effective when I only have 1. So he is actually going for D-stall. That's pretty interesting. And he is stripping out of Europe, which is interesting. And he played 1 into France, which definitely sucks, but it is what it is. And now, unfortunately, the jig is a little bit up. I do need to space decol. I failed, but that's okay. He gets 1 point. So let's see what the next turn looks like. But I would say that we're in an okay position here. That war was pretty big. Asia scoring definitely sucks. Okay, so let's think this through. What can he do to screw up Asia scoring in the headline? I believe that there's Vietnam revolts, there's decol, there's D-stall. I don't think there are any other access cards that he can play in the headline here. So unless I'm mistaken, that's 6 VP for me right now. Because we're at 3-1 to 1-1. 3-1 to 1-1. He would need to take 2 countries, and Vietnam revolts only gives him 1. Worst case scenario, he gets a second non-battleground. Sorry, I'm so leery of playing scoring cards in the headline, but I think in this case, there's nothing he can do. Indo-Pakistani war card is gone. Decol is safely in my hand. Or rather, it's discarded. Oh my gosh, I should have tossed socialist governments instead of decol. That was a huge mistake. Yeah, definitely regret that, but that's okay. It is what it is, and we'll just have to see how it goes. Okay, first things first. First thing is definitely first. Let us score Asia. So, I would not be surprised if his AR1 is going to be taking France. That would be a pretty strong move. He plays defectors just so that he doesn't give up the 1 VP. That signals that he doesn't really have a great hand. So I get 6 VP out of that, which is pretty great. Defcon's at 4, so his choice here, if I'm him, I probably take France. I don't think there's much way around that. The nice thing about that is it lets me score the Middle East with him presence list, which is pretty huge. So he goes for influence. Is he going to pop one in Lebanon? He goes, okay, yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. So let's just think this through for 1 second. So I have Middle East scoring. I don't really have a way to kind of get back in there right now, but I can make things a little difficult for him. So he probably doesn't have a usable 4-op, or he almost certainly would have played it. I think in this case, it makes a lot of sense to start to spread in the mid-war regions. You know, DEFCON's sitting at 4, which is pretty unusual. On the other hand, this is about the best chance that I'm going to get to try to get him out of South America, or at least one of them out of South America. And if he doesn't place influence after that, then I can just go straight into France with something like US-Japan and make it really expensive for him, considering Truman. On the other hand, he might also have de Gaulle. So I believe he's still sitting on the Korean War. I don't think he played that from last turn, and he's also got a 5-year plan. He doesn't know that I'm sitting on Middle East scoring. So maybe I just score the Middle East right now. I think I score the Middle East right, but that gives him a chance to spread. I don't want to give him that breathing room for it. So why don't we take our coup? It's on Venezuela. 50-50. I get presence there. It drops DEFCON, so it protects Thailand, which is pretty critical. And on the other hand, it lets him coup Iran and have a good chance of getting me out. I don't like that as much. Maybe it is better just to take the sure thing with the Middle East and not risk being dominated there, because otherwise it's a 5 VP for him if he knocks me out of Iran, and I don't have a good coup target to get back in. Let's score the Middle East, and we'll go from there. 7 VP after the first 3 scorings I'm pretty happy with. Asia's definitely looking good. Middle East is looking a little sketchy, but at least Iran is a less tempting coup target for him right now. And let's see what happens. Okay, so he goes for Truman. That's unfortunate about France. He does lock it up. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, that's definitely a good choice. I should take Portugal right now. And I think what I also do is I play down here and threaten him a little bit with that. So the nice thing about this, Portugal makes realignments on France very possible in the future. Next thing, Colombia lets me play into Venezuela, so this gives him a little bit of a fork. He either protects Venezuela right now, in which case I coup Argentina. Is that a good play with DEFCON at... Maybe not so much. I think what I actually prefer is coupping Argentina right now. He takes a counter coup, and then after that I can start playing down. Does that make sense? What's the tempo like here? I definitely want to start playing into the mid-war regions sooner rather than later. Maybe it does actually make sense to do something a bit more like that. Portugal is pretty critical here, and I definitely want access to Venezuela. I don't want to be knocked out of there entirely. And if he wants to waste time queuing on battlegrounds, more power to him. I do still have a strong 4-op that I can use for a coup on Venezuela. I think I will go for that. Sure. Now, one of the nice things here, you know, it was too bad that I tossed decall instead of socialist governments, but I'm actually not hating it here because it means that socialist governments is fodder for blockade. That's pretty nice because it means that I don't need to worry about holding on to US-Japan. So I'd actually be in a tougher situation here if I had not, tossed decall by mistake, I guess. So let's see what happens. With DEFCON at 4, there's a few different things that can kind of play out here. I don't know what his hand looks like. It's probably not great considering that he headlined defectors. So he goes for Comecon. That probably means that he's going to be reinforcing there. That definitely makes a lot of sense. So I think I will probably go for my big coup. He does get a counter coup on it, but if he doesn't coup really strongly, I can play straight back in, which is pretty great. Okay, I didn't coup strongly, so he definitely gets one more chance at it. That kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, so we're probably looking at Marshall Plan here. East European, okay. He's going to go back in. I've got defense 5. Fingers crossed. Nice. Alright, so that's pretty great. Let's go ahead and trigger the Arab-Israeli War for him. Okay, that seems pretty reasonable. And we're going to go ahead and defend a few things there. Okay, next sequence of events. I need to play Captured Nazi Scientist. Definitely. I should play Romanian Abdication probably sooner rather than later. Okay, so he's going for the Korean War. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, I think. Before he triggers Independent Reds, we're going to go ahead... I don't really want to lose that, though, do I? I think what we're going to do... Let's not actually give him a non-battleground there yet. I'm going to take 2 VP. I think that's a pretty good play. So with Korean War gone, that's pretty interesting, honestly. I kind of like, in this case, tossing the China card, pumping it into North Korea. I definitely have the edge in Asia as it is. What are my other options here? So he's got 5-year plan. It is his last card, so he's not going to be able to ditch a scoring card at any point. He's defending France, which definitely makes sense. My main way getting him out of here now is going to be high DEFCON realignments. So I think I probably will go ahead and pump North Korea now. On the other hand, I still have domination. I think that's really important to note. So in this case, holding on to the China card definitely makes his hand size issues worse. And, I mean, I'm probably going to end up, unless he gets a lucky Indo-Pakistani war, I'm probably going to end up with 4 battlegrounds there. So maybe it makes more sense in this case to space socialist governments. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I failed, but that's okay. At least it gets it out of my hand. I don't want to give him Romanian yet, because that would give him European domination. Okay, I love this hand. This is really, really solid. So, containment makes a lot of sense. That gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonus ops, which is great. And, man, I don't know. That gives me a lot to play with. On the other hand, let's see. The other obvious opportunity is Marshall Plan here, but I think in this case I prefer containment. It makes a lot of these cards kind of easier to deal with. It gives me 2 more 4-op cards. I've got Vietnam Revolt, so there's no chance of him flipping Thailand here. And honestly, it just lets me get into like some serious ops wars. So I think containment is the obvious choice. Now, what do I know that he got here? He definitely got Nasser, so that's a little bit frustrating. He also got... Yeah, so here's my memorization of the deck. Definitely not helping out too much. What did he get? Are there any other 4 cards left? 1, 2, we got 3, and then I got the last 2. So that was definitely a little unbalanced, I'm not going to lie. He got Nuclear Test Ban first turn, but yeah. Of course, there's also the possibility that he drew Red Scare, in which case containment is absolutely necessary. So we got socialist governments. That's a pretty good one. So he's but that doesn't give him domination. So he could play into Italy if he wants. That's definitely an option. That's pretty neat. Well, let's just see what happens. He's probably going to play into Italy, in which case I get the coup, which, to be honest, I don't hate, because I do have a good coup target here in Argentina. Okay, makes a lot of sense. He is triggering NATO. Unfortunately, I don't get the benefit of it, but he is offering me the coup, so that's pretty neat. Getting into an ops war here, you know, Europe's worth like a lot, but let's be honest. I have more ops this turn than he does. There's no way he's got a lot of ops compared to what I'm sitting on. If we get into an ops war for Europe, that's fine, but getting the coup is something that I can only do once here. So I think let's trigger it. I definitely want it to succeed in this case. So let's take a quick look. I'm guaranteed to clean them out, and I probably get presents myself. That's a really good result in South America this early on. Cool. So I cleared him out. I did roll a 1, but it means that at the very minimum, he no longer has access to Chile or Argentina. And if he wants to race me here on West Germany, I mean, I'm sitting on 4, 8, 12, 15... Yeah, I'm sitting on a lot of usable ops is the main thing. And you know, there's always things like Brush War to flip Italy back in the mid-war. I understand that Europe is very important. I'm definitely not going to kind of belie that. But in this case, yeah, so he's going for locking some stuff up down in Southeast Asia. That makes a lot of sense. But I think in this case, we're going to go ahead, grab West Germany back, start expanding into some of these. And I think that we will probably grab domination back in Asia as well. That makes a lot of sense to me. Okay. So, we're in pretty good shape for the most part here. What's my space going to be this turn? I think I don't actually want to give him European domination. Like, I want him to pay for it at least. So I might actually space Romanian abdication, weirdly enough. Let's see. My AR7 play, assuming he didn't redraw Decall, I'm probably going to be playing into Cameroon. I want to hold Vietnam Revolts for blockade, which he's definitely sitting on right now. So I need to remember, he has blockade. And that's definitely a viable way for him to kind of win the game here, is if he can get me out. So, you know, I definitely need to do a little bit of cleanup there. But let's just remember that he is sitting on blockade. Whether he actually gets to trigger it, I guess we'll find out. Okay, he goes for Nasser. That's definitely a good one. Okay, I have a lot of ops and not a lot of places to play them right now, so I think I'd like to break him in the Middle East and also move up into Zaire. Taking a battleground is never a bad choice. That makes a lot of sense. That also gives me some protection if I get knocked out of Iran later on, which I almost certainly will at some point. And it also means that I have access to Saudi right now, which is a nice stable battleground in the Middle East. Unless, of course, he draws Muslim Revolution, in which case it is very not stable. Alright, we've got Cambridge 5. Sounds good. What do we got? So he's protecting some of that stuff. I think I probably will go ahead and grab Saudi while we're at it, and probably protect a few other things here. Asia is looking pretty good for me right now. I think I will probably... Let's see, my last AR move is probably going to be Warsaw Pact formed, I think. So let's go ahead and... I can play that anytime, that's not really a huge deal. Let's go ahead and take Saudi, and where can I do the most damage with this one-op right now? I think my best choice is making Asia a little bit tougher by playing into... Taiwan's also a battleground right now. Not that it really matters too much, but it's pretty nice. I think I'll make Asia a little bit more of a sure thing by taking Malaysia as well. I don't hate that. Because right now, by taking a single non-battleground, which I may be forced to give him with Vietnam Revolts, it breaks my domination in Asia, which I definitely do not want to do at this point. So he's got 2 more turns. Let's see, we haven't seen any of the scoring cards come back out yet. I would say Europe looks a little scary, I'm not going to lie. I do want to get into something touching it before, you know, that blockade does come out if he does spring it on me in the future. So he's got the Korean War. He takes Libya. That makes a lot of sense. There's not a lot I can do about it. I mean, I could continue to fight it, but at this point, really, sort of like, what's the point? Instead, I think I'm going to stick with my original plan and try to get a little ahead on the space race. And we did succeed in this case, so that's awesome. I'll be able to space a second time if I want. So he's sitting on blockade and 1 other card. If it's Middle East scoring, good for him, he gets 3 points. It's Asia scoring, which is very good news for me. Thank you, sir. So in this case, I'm pretty happy to give him that Vietnam Revolts. Doesn't really matter to me too much now. We're going to go ahead and play 1 Cameroon. Does it make sense to do that, or does it make sense to do Warsaw Pact? 1 Angola, 1 Benelux, just in case somehow he does knock me out. And what's my other choice here? Cameroon. Angola, Cameroon, Benelux. Thailand? Thailand is always a good choice. I can't say that I really hate that. On the other hand, 1 more into Angola means that he can't break me at all. Or I could just take Vietnam outright, since it is worth a VP. I don't really love that move, though. I don't want to take Mexico yet. It makes it too easy of a coup target. I think that I don't hate the idea of... Honestly, let's hold off on it for now. I think I only need 3 ops here. And that gives me a nice strong one. It also makes it much tougher for him to take European domination. Okay, let's take a look and see what the mid-war brings us. I'd rather have a 3-up card than a 2-up card, especially with the threat of blockade. Okay, we got ABM Treaty, which is great. We got Lone Gunman, which is definitely less great. Voice of America is killer here. Gets him out of South America. Junta's pretty great as well. I think Junta makes a lot of sense as my headline. On the other hand, if he missile envies me, I give him ABM Treaty, which I really don't want to do. So, what are my options? If I headline ABM Treaty, that lets me... This is a great hand, not gonna lie. If I headline ABM Treaty and place influence, that potentially lets me ditch... Oh, I've got UN intervention for Lone Gunman, so that's not really an issue at all. Okay, well, let's stick with that. I am very scared of missile envy in this case. You know, usually the USSR doesn't want to play it, but if he is sitting on We Will Bury You, that could allow him to make a big difference. So, let's just think this through. On the other hand, if he doesn't headline missile envy, I get Junta. Or I get it later in the turn, and it doesn't give him a coup. So probably Junta does make the most sense here, and we'll have to rely on the Voice of America if things kind of go sideways. Alright, we got Che, so I assume that he's going to be going for both Colombia and Cameroon. That was definitely a really, really good draw for him here. Nice. And I assume he's going here as well. Okay, good news is I get this, and 456 gives it to me. I not get it, but... well, there's not really a but there. That kind of sucks. On the plus side, he can't realign me, you know, this turn, so that's kind of nice. Voice of America is definitely going to pull him out of something here. Probably Cameroon. He's going for influence, 1 in Africa, and then 2 down into Brazil. That makes perfect sense. We're going to go ahead and pop Voice of America right now. Thank you. And we will also just break him in Brazil so that he can't realign me quite so easily. I think makes a lot of sense. Next move is probably going to be ABM Treaty on Brazil, and we'll see if we can get a little bit of a swing there. Okay. Bear Trap makes a lot of sense as my last action this turn. Let's remember, he is sitting on blockade. Let's hold Warsaw Pact. Oh, interesting. He also had decolonization. Huh. Alright. I can't say that I really love that. Huh. I mean, it was definitely effective, but on the other hand, it gives me a lot of stuff here. It definitely gives me a lot of stuff. So let's think this through for a second. What exactly do I want to be doing? I'm holding South America. I think in this case, taking South America makes a lot of sense. And, you know, Thailand is important, but there's colonials, there's brush war, I've got the China card, and also Asia just scored. I think this is probably a better investment that we've got here. So let's go ahead and play that. Kinda sucks not using ABM for the event, but I think in this case it worked out pretty well. I definitely want to take a coup as well. I'm going to use East European unrest for that. And we're probably going to coup Colombia, see if maybe we can squeak out a South American domination. Otherwise, it's 2 points for me. He might have arms race, which gives him 3, but there's no way that I can catch him for 5 mil-ops at this point. So, it kind of is what it is. In this case, if he wants to capitalize on what he just did, he probably needs to play 4 into Thailand, since otherwise I can use the China card to take it back. And I might actually be tempted to use the China card in this case. So yeah, he's going for 1 from Summit? Okay. I can't say that I really love that too much. That lets me take Thailand, and Thailand is worth 4 VP at a minimum. That tells me he has a very weak hand. South American domination is always nice. Yeah. I think in this case I kind of like that. That's 5 points for me there, and he needs to coup Uruguay. And if he's sitting on a pretty bad hand for ops, that's not a huge deal. Okay, and you know, if he does coup Uruguay, I can always coup Colombia, so I'm not hugely worried about that, and it protects Thailand, which is great. Okay, I still have UN intervention for South America. Sounds good to me. Excuse me, UN intervention for Lone Gun. I'll probably use that for the coup in Colombia, just so that I can get at least 1 mil up, I guess, by the end of the turn. But yeah, in this case, he pretty much has to coup Uruguay, or he's giving me 5 VP, which is honestly almost the game at this point. So he goes for Allende. Yeah. Got a little greedy. He probably should have gone for the coup, but he's probably sitting on very low ops. We're going to go ahead and score South America right now. 19 points for the US. And let's see what can happen here. See if I can squeak something out maybe next turn. So, okay, he did have arms race. There was no way I was going to catch him on that, so that doesn't really matter too much to me at this point. So 5, 6, 7. I've got a couple more turns. We're going to go ahead and, I think, use Lone Gunman with UN intervention, definitely. And we will go ahead and get at least 1 mil op, I think. It's probably the best use that I can get out of this card right now. I cleared him out, which is probably the ideal result, all things considered. That's going to cost me 1 VP at the end of the turn, since I don't think I'm going to get another mil op. But that's okay. So, I know he's sitting on blockade. He might try to hit me with it. He gives me... He doesn't give me anything here. Alright, that sounds good. So I think in this case we're going to go ahead, cancel Formosan, that's fine. Let's see what I can actually accomplish. We're going to play, I think like that makes a lot of sense. Playing into Battlegrounds is always a good choice. On the other hand, Africa hasn't scored yet, and I'm probably looking for a mid-war knockout here. So I kind of like that play a little bit against Liberation Theology, because I'm definitely going to get the opening coup next turn, assuming nothing like Quagmire comes out, since I can bear trap him on the last turn here. So let's go ahead and try that and see what happens. Last AR for him here. Still sitting on blockade. He might spring it now, hoping that I forgot about it. He might wait for a Red Scare Purge. He goes for Willibrandt. Willibrandt! Makes sense to me. And we're going to go ahead and bear trap him. Okay. Makes sense. He gets 1 point. Good for him. Alright, 6 points to win the game. How does it happen? Grain sales makes a lot of sense. Kitchen debates gives me 2. Europe scoring is going to suck. Cuban Missile Crisis is great. Not so much, actually. But definitely grain sales makes a lot of sense here. I got Quagmire, which is awesome. But, yeah, I mean, you can't pass up grain sales. Let's see what happens. And let's just remember with this one as well, he is in a bear trap, so that's definitely going to factor into my considerations. Okay, he got Brush War. That's a great one. He might go for Mexico, might go for Panama. Fingers crossed. He got Panama. That's good for him. I got Sadat. Yeah. Let's actually make that a problem for him. I don't mind that too much. And I think we will go ahead and coup something or other. Coup Nigeria? Yeah, Sadat's just such a problem card for him, right? There's no way that he can really easily get rid of it. And I think if I take Nigeria, I can play Kitchen Debates, which is pretty nice. Definitely got Nigeria. Okay. Sounds good to me. He succeeded with Colonial Rearguards. It's fine. I think in this case we will go ahead and play Cuban Missile Crisis. I think Fidel is not in the discard. So, what are we gonna do? Well, let's lock that up, definitely. And where can I make an impact here? Southeast Asia is going to be coming out. Let's get a point from it. He's got China card. Let's protect Thailand. I think those are probably the most effective plays that I can make here. On the other hand, yeah, I think I like that. On the other hand, if he takes European domination here, that's a lot of points for him. Losing Thailand is more points. So let's go ahead and do that and see what happens. So that's 2 points from Southeast Asia scoring here, which is great. I lose 3 from Europe, and I should trigger that as soon as possible. Let's see. Quagmire, it's fine. Flower Power, that's a nice big one for him. He's playing Influence. So he decided to take Zaire. That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go ahead and score Europe before he grabs domination. Okay, that sounds good to me. Next, priorities. Nixon plays the China card. Let's see. Do I want the China card here? I do. Definitely I do. But there's other things that I think I want more. I would also like to take Argentina here. Definitely. I'd like to play Comecon at some point. He is also sitting on blockade. I'd really like to force that out of him. This feels very much like a winning game, as long as I don't lose to either DEFCON or to European control. And unfortunately, European control is a very serious possibility here. But there's always things like, you know, if I can ever kind of get it out of him, there's always going to be John Paul II, which would be really nice to see. So, let's see what happens. I know he's sitting on Sadat. It's such a problem card for him. I'd like to take the China card back off him as well. Asuri River Skirmish is back in the reshuffle, which is fine. I also have the opportunity for 2 space points, so I should probably take that at some point. Probably Space Arab-Israeli War. It's a recurring event that's just kind of annoying. I did lose it last time, which sucked. So he is making up his mind. So he could be sitting on African scoring. Definitely. It would be nice to take some domination in Africa, when possible. He gives me US-Japan, which is always nice to see, but he definitely is not suffering for a lack of ops this turn, is he? Okay, that makes a lot of sense. He's also very worried about Italy, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so I think what we will do here is go ahead and... Does this make sense? I've got a 40% chance of losing my own influence, so I can't really say I love that too much. On the other hand, if I get it, it's pretty killer. So, what are the priorities here? I think what I'd like to do... Space now? Maybe space now, actually. I think let's space. I failed? That's okay. So, I got Arab-Israeli War out of there at least. So, he's still sitting on blockade. I'd like to probably trigger Nixon plays the China card just to force blockade out of his hand when possible. He gives me nuclear subs. He goes for space as well. He gets success on that. So, that's fine. It is what it is. Let's go ahead and grab the China card back off him, I think. That makes a lot of sense, I think. On the other hand, if I play 1 over here, that threatens African domination. Let's see. Let's see how this can work. He can always coup it, though. The best would be as if I created a threat that he had to respond to at the same time as that realignment. So, I don't see an easy way to do that. So let's just go ahead and grab the China card while I can before he plays it. He might be sitting on Cultural Revolution. Definitely possible. What else would I like to do here? Let's see, we need to space Quagmire. There's no way I'm allowing that. Indo-Pakistani War, he's going for it. I still have 4 battlegrounds, though. Oh, that was a big result for him. That was really nice. Alright, that's fine. Let's go ahead, space Quagmire. We got it that time, so we're back up to 9, which is pretty great. And I should start thinking about what my AR7 play is going to be. Probably kitchen debates into Cameroon, I think, makes the most sense. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Okay. So, we haven't seen Fidelia. Let's see. We haven't seen Panama Canal Returned. We haven't seen OAS. Definitely some nice cards that are left out there for me. And of course, he's sitting on both Sadat and also... Sadat. And also... There we go. Okay, we finally got her. Oh yeah, what's the play here? Comacon, I think. Let's go ahead and... Actually, let's just go ahead and toss that. And we'll go ahead and play Kitchen Debates and Overprotect West Germany. Okay. Perfect. Nice. Alright, so that's one big way that I can lose the game, which is now gone. So, AR7 play, we're playing Comacon. Comacon goes into Cameroon, and also into... What can I break? North Korea? I think North Korea makes the most sense. Yep. Cameroon, North Korea. And he's got one up from Saddam. Okay, regions that haven't scored. Oh, shuttle diplomacy. Alright, well that's at least one VP. He gets that though, which is always nice. So that actually ended up kind of being a bit of a wash for him. We'll take Cameroon, and we'll go ahead and grab North Korea. Okay, and he will, of course, buff up some stuff. Alright, so that gives me African domination, Asia domination, for whatever that's worth, and secure in Europe, for whatever that's worth. I can't believe that he didn't lock that up with domination in Greece or something like that at some point. I definitely still have domination in South America. Let's see what cards we got. Missile Envy, Purge, Duck and Cover, Special Relationship, Ask Not, Africa Scoring. That is a lot of good stuff. Wow. Okay, let's plan this out a little bit. Oof. I feel dirty just looking at that. He probably got either South African unrest or Portuguese Empire collapses, both of which are good headlines for him, I would say. Missile Envy is always nice, and sitting on Duck and Cover, I can't lose to DEFCON from it. I've also got We Will Bury You, which is nice. But we're not going to be playing that. I can tell you that much. African Scoring. Let's see. What's the play? Red Scare is always nice. On the other hand, Missile Envy potentially gives me Muslim Revolution. And I'd really like Muslim Revolution not to occur, because I've got Saudi and Iran. I think let's just go ahead. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? And there's always Red Scare Purge for kind of like next. But being able to potentially deny him that coup, and maybe able to flip Zaire while I've got African Scoring in hand, is pretty strong. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. I've got Duck and Cover. I don't think I can lose the game. Olympic Games is in the discard as well, which I probably should have checked first, but how could Olympic Games be his highest? He's probably looking at something like Brezhnev here for his headline, which is definitely nice. And if he does play Brezhnev, then I need to Red Scare him ASAP so that he can't space Sadat. So, let's see what happens. Muslim Revolution? Muslim Revolution? Muslim Revolution would be nice. With NATO not in play, it's not really a huge deal to get into the UK immediately. definitely Africa is the most important. So we get OPEC. Yeah, he's just trying to get a safe margin of VP. That makes a lot of sense. And let's see what he gives me here. Okay, this turn, I like John Paul, probably for my last AR. Muslim Revolution! Nice! Exactly what I wanted. Alright, we're going to go ahead. I think Central America hasn't scored yet either, and he's only got kind of like one presence in there, so let's go ahead and grab that. And then he's probably going to go for Cameroon, I guess, with a 4-op, though. I've got a 50-50 in Panama. It's almost a sure thing in Zaire. Maybe I just play what I've got, honestly. I know Africa scoring's coming out, and Cameroon is just so tempting of a coup target otherwise. Let's go for it. Alright. That worked out pretty nicely. In retrospect, maybe Panama would have been nicer, but, you know, you don't always get what you want. Alright. Africa's looking great. That's going to be 6 points for me, assuming that nothing else changes, which it definitely could. I'd like to get into Botswana at some point. He's going for the coup on Cameroon. Definitely makes a lot of sense. I think I'd also like to hold Asknot this turn. Next choice is Duck and Cover. We're going to go ahead and take 1, 2. Che is gone out of the deck, so that is probably a pretty safe choice. Am I missing anything? I mean, probably, statistically, but I think I like that. Let's go ahead and give that a shot. South African unrest could derail me or delay me a little bit, but it's not really a huge deal. Let's try that. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we got 6 points from Africa coming here. Central America is even. He might be sitting on Fidel, in which case I definitely look like a goofball for not taking the coup on Panama. But I think in this case, Africa did make more sense. Also, presence in Central America is only worth 1, so, you know, that's only a 1 VP difference in the value of those battlegrounds, and since I know Africa's coming out right now, I think locking everything up down there is just by far the strongest move. Okay, he's probably going to play Influence here because he wants to probably take North Korea back. If he doesn't take North Korea back, maybe I just go for it. I mean, I've got domination in Asia as it is, but you know, it's already scored. He plays Defectors. I get a point off that. That's great. So he did take North Korea. That kind of sucked. But on the plus side, I do get a point out of that. I got 6 points out of Africa. So this is definitely looking kind of nice. Great. Okay, what's next? I think we're probably looking at Central America is... Oh, and Middle East are both unscored. He's sitting on Sadat. I got We Will Bury You. I'd like to hold Asknot if at all possible. He's spacing. It makes a lot of sense. I think I will probably follow suit. There's nothing else I really want to toss here, and I've got Asknot just in case things get ugly. I definitely got success there, which means that I'll be able to see his headline. Okay, next up. Alliance for Progress gives me 3 points, which is nice. He might have Cultural Revolution. Oh, interesting. OAS. Okay, that's actually pretty painful for him since he can't really repair both of those. Oh, Panama. Now I understand. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and lock up some stuff in South America, I think. I mean, Panama's Panama, but, you know, he can only protect one of those. And depending which one he takes, I get the other one if I'm not mistaken. He takes Argentina, makes perfect sense. This will be the opportunity that I go ahead and pump into Chile. Great. That was really nice to see. And that sets up a beautiful realignment on Argentina coming up here. So he should probably play into Paraguay ASAP. Okay. Haven't seen Camp David Accords yet. I know he's sitting on Sadat. Special relationship doesn't really matter too much right here. We get one small step. Okay, he doesn't want me to be able to headline peek. I don't know about that play as him. I got Ask Not. He doesn't have anything to get rid of bad 2-op cards at this point, so that could really come back to bite him. Okay, so I now have, let's see here. I think I'll go for the realignment. Among other things, if I can get it here, Alliance for Progress is worth an extra point. So that's kind of nice. Let's go ahead. I mean, realignments are pretty uncertain, but I'm in a pretty okay position here for the most part. So let's see. Great. That was awesome. no such luck, but that was definitely the best sort of benefit I would have been able to get out of it. So, South America's looking really nice. I like that. I'd like to play into it before playing Alliance for Progress, but I'm not certain I'm going to be able to. So, we get Sadat. Yes, that is what I like to see. Alright, Sadat's looking great. I mean, Cultural Revolution's still coming out, so 2 there, 1 there, that gives me 5 points, and I mean, it's definitely a good choice, I think. And let's go ahead and firm up West Germany a little bit further, because there is the Reformer. Great. Okay, makes a lot of sense to me. South America, Alliance for Progress gives me 5. He gets China card back, but, you know, if he's got Cultural Revolution, eventually it's probably going to happen regardless, and I'd rather be kind of ahead of that, I guess. Alright. So, I think we're looking pretty good here. Middle East is now actually 1 point for me, which is great to see. He's got some scoring card that he's ditching. And he plays in there. Ah, darn. Alliance for Progress is now only 4. Okay, that's fine. Southeast Asia. Oh, that would have been really nice to see. That's fine. Okay. Alliance for Progress. Although, let's just think this through for a second. That still ends the game, so it's not a huge deal. Alliance for Progress I can play next turn as well. Maybe even in the headline. It's not really, like, mandatory right now, and 3 ops is always nice to have. John Paul is a much bigger deal, because that sets up realignment using Tear Down This Wall on East Germany, so probably John Paul, although it's not the strongest without Warsaw Pact in effect. So, I could also reestablish South American control. Oh, decisions! Let's go ahead and pop it, I think. It's too valuable. You know, it makes Solidarity such a frustrating play for him. Okay, what do we got? We got Brezhnev, we got Salt, I got Cultural Revolution. I probably should know a few things he has, like Panama Canal Returned. He has Liberation Theology as well, which is definitely frustrating here, because he is definitely going to play that. Okay. Well, that... Oh, I've got Ask Not for Central America, though, so that's not really a huge deal, although I'd rather hold on to that in case we do get, Lone Gunman coming back out. So, probably try to hold that if at all possible. I do have Salt negotiations, but there is literally nothing in the discard right now. Okay, so, what's the play here? Latin American Death Squad seems like kind of a good choice. Latin American Death Squads. He has Liberation Theology. That's his headline, almost certainly. I don't really see how it could not be. I've got Fidel, though, which is interesting. So I can take Cuba, unless he, you know, decides to go for it. Let's go ahead and, I think, spice things up a little bit in the Americas. Lads is, you know, I don't really have any other really great targets for it, or for my headline. Obviously, Alliance for Progress would be nice. He's definitely going for Liberation Theology here, though, so this means that I'm probably not going to end up in a losing position in Central America. We'll have to see how it goes. Brezhnev's going to be my last AR. Ask Not's going to be my hold card. Central America, I'm just going to try to get out of it alive, honestly. Okay, so there's Liberation Theology. He takes probably 2 Mexico, 1 Cuba. If he does take control, I'm going to have to use Ask Not to get rid of it. But on the other hand, if he does just take control, then I can certainly coup, and I've got a +1 from Lads to be able to do it. So let's just see what happens. Yeah, he's going for all that stuff. That makes perfect sense. And he goes for the China card, giving it back to me. Probably not my first choice, but that's okay. So he's going for control. I can certainly see why he would do that. I will go ahead and give him Fidel, which is great. And I think I will probably go for a coup on Argentina? I think Argentina. Being able to toss Central America, I really like the sound of that. Okay, we didn't get a great result on that, but at least I got my Millops, which is great. So he's going to need to take a pointless coup, and I've got Ask Not for Central America. Okay, so let's think this through. I've also got salt negotiations if we do end up seeing anything, you know, really awesome or whatever come out that I do want to grab. Okay, Brezhnev is still going to be my last AR. Astronaut is going to toss Central America. He's going to go... Oh, is he giving me NORAD? I guess it's pretty late for it, so it doesn't really make too much difference. Yeah, fair enough, I guess. I think in this case we will... I'm feeling okay to try my luck on those realignments again. They worked out pretty well for me last time. I might look like a total goofball if I fail this badly, but let's try it. Definitely did not go quite so well this turn. Yeah, those realignments, you know, it's pretty frustrating with them sometimes the way that it happens, but it is what it is. I'm probably going to have to just be happy for 3 points from Alliance for Progress, and we'll just go from there, unfortunately. But I think I would still like to play it for the event. I guess I could have gotten more out of it last turn, but, you know, you make do with what you got. If you don't know, you don't know. Okay. So, what's next? All of the other scoring cards are back out. Middle East, that's 1 point for me, I think, which is great. Thank you, sir. Okay, sounds good. Next up, we are going to go for Alliance for Progress. Thank you. 17 points. I really just want to put the pin in at a certain point here. Obviously, I'm in a pretty good position, but, you know, there are things that can screw me up, most notably DEF CON. So, let's just see how it goes. I mean, nothing short of hell or high water can convince me to play the China card at this point. I am holding that bad boy until I die, in case I draw Lone Gunman and I get hit with Aldrich Ames or Terrorism. So... Ask Not on Central America and probably Cultural because I really... Oh, actually I could Space Cultural and I probably should right now since that's a 50-50 shot at winning the game. Yeah, that is 100% my next move, 50-50. I definitely like the sound of that. I feel like when I got up to 18 or 19 points earlier this game, there was a moment where I might have been able to space for the win. I was thinking about that afterwards. Oh, he goes for the event there. That's not really the strongest. So you know how I was saying 50-50 at winning the game? We're actually going to do exactly not that. And we're going to play Salt. Play Salt. I don't like that. But, what you going to do? 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. That makes a lot of sense to me. Okay. That was kind of a weird move, honestly. It tells me he might be sitting on Africa scoring, but, you know, I can't afford to surrender that amount of territory if I miss my space shot. So let's see what happens, and we are going to... Portuguese, okay, I mean, that's so easy to realign. Let's just take my shot. Failed. Alright, that's fine. That's okay, you know, it is what it is. If he's sitting on Africa, I still get it. If he's not, then... Okay, Ask Not now on Central America, and Brezhnev for my final AR. Pretty much has to be that. He's sitting on Panama Canal Returned, if I'm not mistaken, and also Puppet Governments. Cool, I like the sound of that. Let's set up some stuff in Central America on him, and I probably... Oh, actually, let's not give him an easy coup target. I want Lebanon. Definitely want Lebanon. And I want... what else is good? I want Guatemala, and I also want what's a good choice? What's powerful? I want Lebanon. I want maybe Paraguay, Finland, I suppose, and let's just pop one in Afghanistan. It is half a VP. I realize I could have set up realignment threats there, but I don't want to give him like a really good incentive for a coup here, because otherwise I get 2 points from Milovs at the end of the turn, so, you know, let's not do that. Yeah, pretty brutal, you know, the one region of the board that he was doing really well and me being able to Ask Not. That's pretty nice. So he is going for influence with it. We're going to go ahead and toss Central America scoring, keep Brezhnev for my AR-7. We got Summit. Definitely like that better than Central America scoring. I'll say that much. And, yeah, what are we doing with Brezhnev here? Probably realignments. Let's take Angola back. Honestly, at +2 against it? How could I fail? He asked. The answer is I could fail very easily, but let's just see what happens. Okay, we got our man in Tehran. Nice. Okay, so he did decide to go for his Milops. I think that was the wrong target, though, just because I had realignment on that one, but let's see what happens. I don't hate most of those, but 5-year plan is kind of better for him. Missile Envy, I'd rather just not even have to worry about it. Africa Scoring, I definitely want to see it come out. Flower Power, I don't know, man. Let's just get it out of the deck and keep the good stuff. Okay, and we are going for some realignments. Angola. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. Sure, I guess. Realigning at +2 and I lose. How much was that? I lost 3 in Angola. Alright, that's fine. Okay, how do I win? I win with South America Scoring. Yep. That is the game. What could he do to screw it up? Probably a few things, I guess. Junta is the obvious headline choice. And let's see. U2 instant, nuclear. I mean, there's some really good cards here that I'm going to play if for somehow, whatever reason, this doesn't kill it. But Junta is the choice. We get Latin American debt crisis. Sure, I guess. Okay. Well, let's take my shot first, I think. What am I going to do with this? I mean, I need to drop DEFCON, so we do 2 into Argentina. We coup. Yeah. Okay, sure, I guess. And, yeah, let's give him, I don't know, the Reformer, I guess. I definitely don't want to play it. So, sure. Makes sense to me. Might be trying to cut my hand size, actually, but that's okay. I'm not holding Lone Gunman, so it's not really a huge deal. And assuming that he doesn't play anything really funky here, I win the game on my next turn. Let's see what happens. Yeah, he got some bad luck, honestly, this game. That's really all there is to it. He takes Argentina, takes that back. GG. Sorry it took so long to put a pin in it. There we go. And that is the game. 22 points on turn 8. All right.